Greetings, everyone. We're starting a new devotional and sermon series in the book of Genesis. And what we're looking at is that God has a design for how things should be, and then there's the way it really is. There's something broken in this world. You know, as I talk to people about spirituality and ideas of God, there can be lots of disagreements about things, but very rarely have I come across someone who disagrees with the idea that something is broken in the world. Oh, people might say, well, the world itself isn't broken, it's just people. But that's just another way of agreeing with the idea. As beautiful and as amazing as life can be, something is broken. We could talk about how our places, our cities, places where we live are broken. We could talk about how people's purpose in life has gone askew, how that's been broken. But what I want to talk about today is how our person is broken. And we're going to begin by looking at how we were made, how it was meant to be, and then how it really is. I'm going to read from Genesis chapter 1, beginning in verse 26. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. We're made in the image of the divine. Now, we are not God, but we are like him. Justice, majesty, creativity, intelligence, power, compassion, love. This is something to be celebrated. This was a very good beginning. And yet, Adam and Eve, our first parents, wanted more. They didn't want to be like God. They wanted to be gods themselves. They wanted to define themselves. And we see that same spirit all around us. We don't like how God has defined us. We don't like the idea that we are defined by anything outside of ourselves. Only we can define ourselves. Only our sense of who we are really matters. You know, our struggle with who we are, the struggle with our person, is not a new one. The struggle with limitations put upon us by our communities, our families, our societies seems as old as civilization itself. Women locked into the expectation of being a wife and a mother, and a century gone by, to be replaced in some sense by the rejection of being a wife and a mother and pursuing a career, but also women feeling blocked in by that. Men not born to nobility or money feel that they're directed into certain kinds of careers, certain kinds of blue-collar jobs that they find unfulfilling. But conversely, men feeling shamed into going to college because, of course, that's how you get your real value, is you get a higher degree. And it's true. Societal expectations of who we are, of who we should be, can be crushing. So, how do we define ourselves? Who are we? How should we understand our person? I love this quote from Brennan Manning's Ragamuffin Gospel about how one should be defined. Define yourself radically as one beloved by God. This is the true self. Every other identity is an illusion. This is just another way of saying, let the creator of the universe, who made you and who loves you, define who you are. Now, and part of that identity after the fall is that we are a broken image bearer, and we will struggle with that brokenness. But we need not be defined by that brokenness. We need not let that struggle, whatever it is, define who we are. God has made you in his image, and in Jesus Christ, he is the one who loves you and gave himself for you. And God is at work to put all things right. We get tastes of it in this life. We will see its completion in the resurrection. So in the midst of the struggle, know God's love defines you. Struggle on, and he will be faithful to put all things right in the end. Blessings on you all.